Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Distribution Ki. Go to Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shishi, Guru, and Shri Gauranga. All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me? I don't know if I placed this properly. I mean, not here. No, the thing is, it needs to rotate. I'm not able to turn it around. I think if I go like this. Can you hear me? Is it okay? Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivardhari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana यशोदानन्दन व्रज जन रञ्जन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जन रञ्जना यमुना तीरावनचारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा काला चंजी राधा काला चंजी राधे जय राधा काला चंजी राधा काला चंजी राधे जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा निताई गौर हरि बोल निताई गौर हरि बोल जयो जयो प्रभुपाद जयो जयो प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद Jayo Jayo Shri Chaitanya Jayo Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jayo Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jayo Jayo Shri Chaitanya Jayo Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jayo Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jayo Jayo Shri Chaitanya Jayo Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jayo Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrit ki, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Praying at the lotus feet of my spiritual master, our dear most Srila Prabhupada, and all the Guru Vargas, may I speak few words in the glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna. For the pleasure of the Vaishnavas and for my very own purification, Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhuve Vachapatita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama. Mukum Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Grim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurundi Nataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwar. Kathanchana smite asmin dushkaram sukaram bhaved vismite viparitam syat Shri Chaitanya namami tvam. Hare Krishna. So we are studying Madhya Chaitanya Charitamrit, Madhya Leela chapter 9, and ideally we should be starting from 220. But today is also Vakreshwar Pandit's appearance there, and morning Gopal Prabhu. We don't have Gopal Prabhu here to read Samadhi book, so we will first read from there, and I have one more article, and we will read that and hear about Vakreshwar Pandit. And it is to hear about the Lord is glorious, but even more glorious is to hear about the devotees, the pure devotees. So we will read from there. This is a Samadhi book. I was hearing recently, and before I start the class, I thought yesterday when we were hearing Gurudev's class, recorded class, and he was saying that we learn to preach. Otherwise, Prabhupada also says this so often that if you learn, and he said it to Yamuna Devi, that if you learn and if you don't give, you become Kripana. And Prabhupada often in his purport will explain what is the difference between a Brahmana and Kripana. A Brahman is one who gives it away, and a Kripana is one who preserves everything for themselves, herself, himself. So Maharaj was saying yesterday, Gurudev, that you learn to give. But that was nice. I like to give. But then he said, you can only preach when you're pure. And then my heart sunk, because I'm not pure. So whatever you're hearing, understand from, I'm speaking, impure soul is speaking something pure. So please take it to your realization, to your understanding. And by Prabhupada's mercy, whatever the significant soul can speak, we'll try to speak. But please pray for me and bless me so that, whatever I'm talking, someday I may imbibe it internally also. Someday I may internalize it too. I was hearing Indradumna Maharaj, and I just started the series. It's called a Samadhi series. It's just, this, because when you go to Vrindavan, of course, they're a temple, and we often talk about 7 Goswami temples and this temple and that temple. But I haven't heard many people speaking about the Samadhis. And we as Gauriya Vaishnavas, we are in the mood of separation, not so much in union. That's the topmost that Madhavendra Puri, introduced the Madhurya Ras and also separation. And when you go to Samadhi, it is that mood that, I want to meet this personality who is a pure devotee of the Lord, who served Lord. And one such person was and is Vakreshwar Pandit, dear associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so Maharaj was saying, he was reading from couple of books. One of them is this book by this Samadhi book, Samadhis of Vrindavan. And then he was saying that it's, for us, Samadhis are even more important than the temple. Sounds so different than what we would have heard or something. But Samadhis are even more. And if you go to Govinda, this is my understanding. When I went to Govindaji temple, Vrindavan, near Loi Bazaar, the deities are still in, right now they are in Rajasthan. But when you go to Samadhi, the Samadhi is actually there. Samadhi was, of course, some of them were, they were put into water and things like to save them from the Mughal attack and whatnot. But then so many Samadhis are still there. If you go to Shamananda Prabhu's Samadhi, it is there. And of course, Rupa Goswami's, Sanatan Goswami's, Raghunath Das Goswami's Samadhi is there at Radhakund. They have actually 2 Samadhis and different Samadhis. There might be Pushpa Samadhi, like how we have Gurudev's, or they sometimes may get their, hair or nails or something and then it can become a Samadhi too. So different kind of Samadhis are there. Having said that, so I was feeling very inspired to, and it has also been said that on a day, of course a Vaishnava is merciful always, but on a day of appearance and disappearance, like yesterday was Gurudev's appearance, today is Vakreshwar Pandit's appearance, and when on those days we can meditate, it's an opportunity, and especially on those days when we think what qualities did you like of that Vaishnava. Like Gurudev was very, very, lion-like a personality. Like Prabhupada was so much depending on him for so many things. And then Vakreshwar Pandit, when we read and hear about this wonderful devotees, pure devotees, and then when on the day comes with their appearance or disappearance, and then we can meditate and beg them for whatever, whatever qualities that we admire in them, and they will be very mercifully giving it to us. And as Maharaj was saying in the Dimna Maharaj in the class, that somebody asked, I think Srila Prabhupada's disciple asked that, do you still see your spiritual master after they leave their body? And Prabhupada said yes. And we hear this also at Radha Damodar temple, how Prabhupada, how Rupa Goswami came and gave darshan to Prabhupada and gave instruction. So when we come at a stage, they can even give us darshan. So let's have that, desire in our heart and then dive into Vakreshwar Pandit's life. This is a short one, so I got another from online. So this is Vakreshwar Pandit. Yeah. Once in the house of Srinivas Thakur, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sang while Vakreshwar Pandit danced in constant ecstasy for 72 hours. At that time, Lord Chaitanya said, Vakreshwara, I have only one wing like you, but if I had another, certainly I could fly in the sky. Expert at singing and dancing, Vakreshwar Pandit always pleased Lord Chaitanya with his service in the Navadvip Sankirtan parties, which he joined from the beginning, the dramas at Shiva's Angan and the yearly Rath Yatra at Jagannath Puri. Vrindavan Das Thakur said, to awaken the sleeping souls in the age of Kali, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to distribute the nectar of the holy name of Krishna. When he came, the khol, mridanga, and kartals sounded like thundering clouds, absorbed in moods of ecstatic love and shouting, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Sri Gauranga told everyone to chant the holy name of Krishna. Raising his golden arms to the sky, Lord Gaurahari would dance in ecstasy. At that time, Vakreshwar Pandit and others would dance with the Lord Chaitanya Bhagavat. By Vakreshwara's blessings, Devananda Pandit was freed from the Vaishnava aparadh he committed against Srinivas Pandit. Then Sri Chaitanya accepted Devananda Pandit as one of his own devotees. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu commented on this incident. Krishna has made his home in the heart of Vakreshwar Pandit. At, as Krishna dances in his heart, so Vakreshwar Pandit himself dances. Whatever place Vakreshwar Pandit blesses with his association becomes a holy place of pilgrimage more sacred than all the holy places. I'll repeat that. Whatever place Vakreshwar Pandit blesses with his association becomes a holy place of pilgrimage more sacred than all the holy places. Certain great devotees such as Vakreshwar Pandit, Paramananda Puri, Swarup Damodar, Gadadhar Jagadananda Pandit, Shankara Raghunath Vaidya, Raghunath Das were associating with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from the beginning of his pastimes in Navadvip. They also faithfully served the Lord when he moved to Nilachal Dham Jagannath Puri. Vakreshwar Pandit established deities of Shri Shri Radha Kanta in Kashi Mishra's house next to the Gambhira in Jagannath Puri. Kavi Karnapura says Vakreshwar Pandit is an incarnation of Aniruddha or Chaturvyuha, Aniruddha of Chaturvyuha. We know the four. Right? Aniruddha, and who all the others are? Aniruddha, Shankarshan, Pradyumna and Vasudeva. Vakreshwar Pandit initiated Gopal Guru Goswami and many others in Orissa. Dhyanachandra, a disciple of Gopal Guru Goswami, says in his book that Vakreshwar Pandit is an incarnation of Tungavidya Sakhi, an expert singer and dancer serving as one of Srimati Radharani's Ashta Sakhis. His samadhi is in the 64 samadhi area that is called Chausat Samadhi also. I think it has most of it. It's more into details. Probably I will just narrate one or two stories from there instead of reading that. So this story of Dayananda Pandit. Before that, if you go to Orissa and you go visit Jagannath Puri, this place which is mentioned as Gambhira. Of course, it's a very, very intimate place of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and a very important place for us to develop, that particular mood that we trying to follow, the mood of separation. And because Mahaprabhu used to cry in ecstasy in the separation of, the Lord. And Swarup Damodar and Rai Ramananda would give him solace, and he will cry. And if you see the room, it is so small, and it is very tiny, barely and Mahaprabhu was so tall, and along with Swarup Damodar and Rai Ramananda, it has to be something magical for all of them to fit in there. And next to that, there is a small room. You will see a lamp that's being burnt from that time onwards, and it is never put off. So you can see that, and right opposite there is an angan, it's called, which is like a veranda, porch, and right opposite there is a temple of Radha Kanta temple, and which has been who's there? They are Vakreshwar Pandits, and there if you see, you will see Gopal Guru's deity also. Gopal Guru gave his deity to his disciple Dayananda, whose name is mentioned here. Dayananda, or what was the name mentioned? No, Dhyan Chandra. To worship, because he was in so much separation, but after he left his body, there were and the temple was given to Dhyan Chandra, and he was taking care, but then political things, it's going on ever since, so it was still present there. Some people tried to take away that. Whatever I recollect from whatever the guide was telling us, so I'm just narrating it. Please go and check, cross-verify the story. But and then this part is, of course, then he didn't know what to do, because he didn't have any paper. He didn't have anything documented where it says it is in the name of Dhyan Chandra and he's supposed to take care. And he is the disciple of, everybody knew he was a disciple, but there was nothing documented. And then he was in so much pain, he prayed to his guru who left his body. And then some people came and told him that your guru Maharaj is sitting in Vrindavan and doing his, he is doing his bhajan. So he went running. And he met his Guru Maharaj. Of course, this story I have heard different versions also. He went and then he had a solid paper to bring, and he won the case. And his Maharaj appeared, his Guru appeared just for his disciple, so that he can continue, because he had a right motivation. Of course, it was not that he wanted to have the property for himself. I'm sure then he wouldn't have come. But then he had a genuine desire to continue the Guru's teachings. And then, and if you, even now when you go there in Vrindavan, you will see Gopal Guru's Samadhi and the temple and everything is there. So why I'm saying it, and I'm saying what happens when you go to a Samadhi, temple maybe because we are somewhat attached to the deities, but when you go to a Samadhi, you don't see anything very significant. So you just go there, visit. I mean, I'm talking for myself. It's very easy to just go, pay obeisance and leave. But when we think what all, what pastimes has happened here, if you know what is Gambhira, if you know how Mahaprabhu was, if we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, we know the story that went behind. Prabhupada will say, this is not a story, it's a history that went behind. You will feel much more connected. When you go to, where Haridas Thakur chanted, different places, it's been said that such people, wherever Vakreshwar Pandit gave his association, it's the most sacred, most holy place than all other holy places. So this is the potency of the pure devotees association. What to speak of another devotee or another person, even to a place when they give their association, the place becomes so holy that it becomes holier than the other. So, and then other story that another thing that is being mentioned is Dayananda Pandit. So Dayananda Pandit was a scholar, and he would give Bhagavatam class, and he had his disciples. And Srinivas Pandit will go and sit there and hear. And one such day, he was sitting and hearing Bhagavatam, and he started crying. As he started crying, the disciples of Dayananda Pandit thought, okay, this person is disturbing the class by crying. So they took him up, lifted him, and threw him out of the, the place where the Bhagavatam was being read. And he felt hurt. He felt hurt, but not like a curse and things like that, and he went away. But then Lord understood it, Lord knew it, Mahaprabhu. So he wouldn't give any mercy towards Dayananda Pandit, even if he was such a scholar and read Bhagavatam so eloquently. And there it is mentioned, the article that I was reading, that Lord said, it is not enough just to be respectful towards the book Bhagavat. You also have to respect and serve the Bhakta Bhagavat. And only by the mercy of both, one who respects a Bhakta Bhagavat or a person Bhagavat, and one who respects the book Bhagavat, the combination of this will give you Krishna Prema and give you the pure result. But if you respect one and reject the other, you will definitely not get the mercy of Krishna. And then, so this went on, and then Vakreshwar Pandit, as usual, he was a main one of the, as it's mentioned here, the wing of Chaitanya, one wing of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If he would have had another one, he would have, flew. And then one day he was dancing. He was always there, as we read earlier, that from the very beginning, Jagannananda Pandit, Raghunath Das Goswami, similarly, Vakreshwar Pandit had always been with Mahaprabhu, especially Puri. And one day while he was dancing, he could dance for 72 hours at a stretch. And I was like, so when we dance, we can pray to him, And he was dancing and dancing, and Vakreshwar Pandit saw him and was he was mesmerized seeing somebody can dance like this. And when he was dancing, he was just looking at him and completely lost in bliss. And then people started coming, seeing this dance. Crowd started coming. And then he took a cane and started, guarding Vakreshwar Pandit so that it does not get disturbed and interrupted. And I have also heard this, that when he finally lost it, Vakreshwar Pandit, he was about to fall. He fell in the lap of, he held him. Dayananda Pandit held him and then served him. And seeing this, Vakreshwar Pandit blessed him, and also Mahaprabhu blessed him, as it is being said that, Mahaprabhu blessed him, saying, you have served me so well. And then Mahaprabhu will say that you have served Vakreshwar Pandit so well that you deserve Krishna Prem. And then he gets the blessing. So that's the story of Vakreshwar Pandit. And so that's what I was like, as Mahaprabhu was giving this instruction, that you just cannot do it by yourself. You have to serve. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena seva. You have to serve a Vaishnav to get the Krishna Prema just by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, just by chanting by ourselves and doing things independently. Krishna may not be pleased. And then this Vaishnava Aparad, right? I mean, we can go on and on and on about Vaishnava Aparad. We were singing this song, and where it says, if somebody does aparad at lotus, at the lotus feet of Hari, he can be relieved. But if because it was addressing a Vaishnava, if somebody does commit offenses at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, there is no tran. Tomastane aparade nahi kono tran. There is no relief when you commit offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. But we see such a merciful story. It's a hope against hope. It's a hope giving, where we see Dayananda Pandit was been relieved of his Vaishnava aparad by serving the same person whom he committed the aparad to. So we will pause here. That's about Vakreshwar Pandit. If you want to read more, it's more available. Other thing, last Sunday was Chiradoi festival of Raghunath Das Goswami. Every time, I mean, ever since I have heard of it, how Chaitanya Charitamrita come into being. So Raghunath Das Goswami is a very, very, of course, he is there on the altar, one of the 6 Goswami. He is our Prayojan Acharya, and which is Krishna Prem is our Prayojan, and he is the one who gives it. So yes, so Chiradoi is more than just the chipped rice and yogurt and the condensed milk and the mangoes and however you make it fancy as you wish, but it is way deeper than that. It is, of course, it makes the prasadam makes it even more relishable, but then did we discuss about the story, Mataji? Do you remember? Last Sunday? No. Okay. So most of you might know the story. I would just quickly say it so that next Dahi Chira we may meditate on this story, or we can meditate it any time, every day. So basically, Raghunath Das, who was so rich that even calculator will fail to count the wealth he had. Extremely wealthy family, rich family, sophisticated family, all that adjective you want to add on, go on. So but he was very detached since his childhood. And his uncle and his father, these 2 brothers, had so much of wealth, but they didn't have children. So eventually they, prayed for one, and Raghunath Das Goswami was born. And so he was so dear to the family, and that dear child was so detached, which didn't bring so much of joy, but they were also Vaishnav. They were doing a lot of Vaishnav service and things like that. And then once Haridas Thakur came, and his Kul Guru, family Guru, was Yadunandan Acharya. But there was one more, he had one more, priest. I'm not sure, one of them introduced him to whose house he used to go and learn the scriptures and things like that. And one day, the teacher said, there won't be any class because this great devotee called Haridas Thakur is coming and we won't have class. So all the other kids went outside and started playing. But Raghunath Das Goswami asked his teacher, can I also serve you along when you serve this devotee? And seeing his eagerness, he said, yeah, please come. And so this teacher was doing it, and then Haridas Thakur was coming from very far, but Haridas Thakur wouldn't take prasadam at anyone's house. But this teacher of Raghunath Das Goswami somehow convinced him. He said, please, please, please. And then mercifully Haridas Thakur agreed. And then Haridas Thakur came and gave his association, and Raghunath Das was always there admiring Haridas Thakur and hearing about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and falling in love with Mahaprabhu every time when he was hearing. And then when Haridas Thakur was done, and Haridas Thakur will, honor prasadam, and in between he will start chanting. And Raghunath Das Goswami was mesmerized with him, and he would just look up. And then when the prasadam was done, Haridas Thakur wouldn't give the Brahman to take the plate because he's a Brahman, and Haridas Thakur was from a Muslim background. Then he said, okay, the small boy, he is a Kshatriya, he is a Kayastha. You can let him, he is not a Brahmana, you can let him take your plate. And then Haridas Thakur agreed, he gave the plate, and while going, he took some remnant from that plate. And he was, what to speak after that, the rest is history. And then he heard so much, and he would, every opportunity after that, he will run away from home, and he will try to go and meet Mahaprabhu. Every time he will go, either his parents will send guards and things like that. And a time came when they started having him guards front, back, everywhere. And then they got him married, thinking that if he is married, he will be more engaged in the family business and he will forget the craze of Mahaprabhu. He won't be as crazy anymore. And then it's explained that he was married to a woman who was even more beautiful than Apsara, the heavenly damsels. Nothing happened, he was still the same. Then his mother said, why don't we tie him? And then his father said, the wealth, the women, nobody is able to tie. What will your material rope can do? Leave him. And then, but then he wouldn't get Mahaprabhu's. Mahaprabhu will say, don't behave like a monkey and, don't artificially renounce. Go do your duty externally, but, be Krishna conscious internally and things like that. But he was not satisfied. Of course, he was doing all that. And one day he went because Nityananda Ram was there. So he went and he saw Nityananda Ram, and he gave him, thinking himself very fallen, he paid obeisances from very far. And Nityananda Ram, everybody said, oh, Haridas Thakur is here. And then Nityananda Ram will say, who? The thief? Call him here. And then they caught him. He said, come meet Nityananda. And then Nityananda Prabhu said, you are a thief. And then he didn't say anything. Why was he called thief? He was called thief because he was trying to meet the Lord before the Guru. Nityananda Prabhu is our Guru Tattva, from where, everything flows. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Lord. So if you try to meet Lord without the Guru, you will never get God. And then Nityananda Prabhu very mercifully placed his feet or foot on the head of Raghunath Das Goswami. The picture is very beautiful, you can find it out. And from that day, and then he blessed that may your all entanglement get removed. But he also gave a punishment. It's also called Danda festival. Danda, what is the festival called in Hindi? Mahotsav. Thank you. So, because Danda also means punishment, right? So he was given a punishment. The punishment was so sweet. And he said, you feed everybody chira, which is chipped rice, and doi, which is yogurt, and feed everybody. And in that festival came also Mahaprabhu. And very few devotees could see Mahaprabhu. One of them was Raghunath Das Goswami. And Nityananda Ram will take some from every devotee's, morsel from every devotee's plate. Just imagine yourself being there and feed it to Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and Gauranga Mahaprabhu will also do the same, and it went on and on and on. And there were so many devotees, it's said that they didn't have place on the land. So they were in Ganges, standing and honoring Prasadam. It was such a wonderful Panihati. We celebrated it, but Panihati also celebrates in a big, big way. And that's when Raghunath Das Goswami got the mercy of Nityananda Ram. And as soon as this time when he went home, he did not stay inside anymore. Within the walls of his house, he would stay it's called Durga Mandap. It's a place where they used to celebrate Durga Puja. And he will stay there. And eventually one night there, that time Yadunandan Acharya came and told, the priest ran away halfway through. I was thinking of our temple. Sometimes we don't have the priest, and Manjoli Mataji will be calling every here and there and say, can you come, can you come? So like that, Yadunandan Acharya came running to Raghunath Das Goswami that we don't have the pujari for tomorrow morning Mangalarti, and please go and convince him he is not agreeing to do his service tomorrow. So it was almost towards the night. So he went, he said, come, I'll come. And he took it as an opportunity. He went with him, and halfway through he said, okay, Brahmana, Yadunandan Acharya, you go. It's late, I will go convince, and tomorrow you will have your pujari. So Yadunandan Acharya went this way. Raghunath Goswami ran to Mahaprabhu. He did not take the regular route because he knew, his parents, his father will send this army of people, the soldiers or the guards, to find where. And Shivananda Sen used to arrange this Rath Yatra time, everybody will go to Puri. And so, of course, his father sent the guards to Shivananda Sen, and he said, he is not here, he is not with us. He took a very difficult path to reach, but eventually he reached. Mahaprabhu gave him blessing. He handed over him to Swarup Damodar, and by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, he never returned back. So that's Chiradoi festival. Next time when you eat Chiradoi, also remember the story. Okay? How much time do we have? We barely have anything. I will, for the ritual's sake, I'll read the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we are, right now is the story where, or history, where, Mahaprabhu just met this Brahmana. What was his name? Krishnadas. And he was very sad because Sita Devi was being abducted. Sita Devi was touched by this demon called, Ravan. So he was sad. He somehow fed Mahaprabhu, but he himself would not eat. So Mahaprabhu went ahead and found the scripture where it was mentioned that it was not real Sita, it was a Chaya Sita or a Maya Sita. We read extensively about it back and forth in the verses, through the verses. And then he brought it back for his, he came back again for his dear devotee and gave it to him. And then he read, and he was so happy, the Brahmana. And we also discussed that this time he did not convert him. Mahaprabhu did not convert this Brahmana into a Krishna Bhakta, but he remained a Ram Bhakta. And reading that, this Brahman became so happy, so happy. He said, "Oh, you relieved me of great pain. And this time, let's have the, lunch or bhiksha properly." And then this time he cooked nicely, fed Mahaprabhu and fed himself also. And that's how that story ended. And then Mahaprabhu went on for further places. And I thought I will complete this section so that we can move to the next one, but didn't happen. So I will read 2-3 verses and then we will pause. Chiyadatal tirtha dekhi Shri Rama Lakshmana Tila kanchi ashi koila Shiva daroshana. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. After this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to a holy place known as Chiradatala, where he saw the deities of the two brothers, Lord Ramachandra and Lakshmana. He then proceeded to Tilakanchi, where he saw the temple of Lord Shiva. Purport: Chiradatala is sometimes known as Cheratala. It is near the city of Kaila, and there is a temple there dedicated to Lord Ramachandra and his brother Lakshman. Tilakanchi, Tenkashi, is about 30 miles northeast of the city of Tirunelveli. I don't like geography, but anyway, I never did actually. Gajendra mokshano tirthe dekhi Vishnu murti panagori tirthe ashi dekhilo Sitapati. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then visited the holy place named Gajendra Mokshana, where he went to a temple of Lord Vishnu. He then came to Panagari, a holy place where he saw the deities of Lord Ramchandra and Sita. The Gajendra Mokshana temple is sometimes mistaken for a temple of Lord Shiva. It is about 2 miles south of the city of Kaivera. Nagercoil. Sorry. Actually, the deity is not of Lord Shiva, but of Vishnu. Panakuri, is about 30 miles south of Tirunelveli. Formerly, the temple there contained the deity of Lord Ramachandra, but later the devotees of Lord Shiva replaced Lord Ramachandra with the deity of Lord Shiva named Rameshwara or Ramalinga Shiva. So I'll pause here and we will see if there is any discussion. And because I cannot complete the section, it's few more verses, at least 12 verses more. So pause here if there is any discussion, any. Yes, Mataji. Is there a mic? You want to speak in it? Okay. you take a mic and go around the community and ask how many of them would like their son to be a brahmachari. It's not easy, right? Only son. So many years. They prayed, and then they had the entire family, had one son. And of course, the affection, and Mahaprabhu also said that, Mahaprabhu didn't speak very high of them, even if I was thinking he will speak the same about me too. Like I am more towards his parents' side kind of a devotee than Raghunath Das side Goswami kind of a devotee. Like still attached to things. Still, they gave a big portion of their earning only for Vaishnav Bhojan and Vaishnav Seva, things like that. Still Mahaprabhu did not acknowledge them as great devotees. So it's real bhakti is very, probably I think for myself at least, is very far from what it might look like or what I may think of myself. And of course, they wanted, like how we say, like have everything wonderful, and wonderful only you remain in this material world. And, let it go on and on and on.
I'm just surprised because they were Vaishnavas serving Vaishnavas. I'm understanding they knew.
But they were attached to Vaishnava like me.
Yeah, how can be something's always wonderful in material world? So.
Yeah, Vaishnava, like they had conviction and they didn't have doubt about, anything else or anybody else. But like who is God and things like that. That way, of course. But then, I don't know. I can answer it if I can let go my son and become a brahmachari is what I'm thinking. You want to say something, Prabhu? Yeah, it's also depends, like who is at what level. Raghunath Das Goswami was a reincarnation of Radharani's very close associate. And of course, they have to be really pious. We have to understand this also. They have to be of some standard for that kind of devotee appear in the house of. They cannot. He wouldn't have appeared in anybody's house. They have to have some standard, but the standard is not up to the mark of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Radharani. Raghunath Das Goswami is Rati Manjari. He has few more other names. One of the closest, not just he had a longest association with 16 years of association with Mahaprabhu. He's one, even in spiritual world, he is there is an entire series, but it's in Hindi. So I'll just give you something about it. You want to say something? Okay. So Raghunath Das Goswami's service is also very, very close. He's very much close to the divine couple. So you see, he came down to preach us. So his level is very hard to match. I may think, oh, I'm also like Raghunath Das Goswami, but I'm not. So, yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
I would also think that the parents of Raghunath Das Goswami are super elevated souls that are being like under Yoga Maya in a sense that.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. It's more exciting when you hear. If they said, "Oh yeah," if everything was just smooth and you do what you want, you go. That's not as exciting when you hear, "Oh, there was some resistance," and it makes his so-called surrender like more glorious. Although he's a Nitya Siddha, right?
Yeah.
He's eternally perfect, and his parents are, I don't know, but if you go in the Gaura Ganadesh Deepika, there's probably explanations of who they are in Krishna Leela. And
I have not read, but there might be. So,
but to say anybody connected with these pure devotees are super elevated souls that are there to enact the unfolding of Lord Chaitanya's Leela.
Also, if you see Nanda and not Nanda, yes, no, not Nanda Nacharya, Krishna's parents, Vasudeva and Devaki, right? They are elevated. They have to be elevated to have Krishna in their family. But then, if you compare with Yashoda Mai, she is more glorified because she didn't have the awe and reverence mood. So, what I feel, they all are much more elevated than where I am. And that's enough for me to, worship them. But it is also to, when, as Prabhu was saying, it brings rasa when this diversity comes. They have a child, they are born, he is born, and say, oh, you are a, Vishnu devotee or Mahaprabhu, please go. We don't care, go. Whatever wealth we have, we will send. And he did. And you see, when he saw, his parents, especially his uncle, saw Raghunath Das Goswami there, they sent the guards so that he doesn't have trouble while serving. Think of this, okay? Once they realized, when the mother said, why don't you tie him up? He said, how can we tie him? The women and the wealth cannot tie. The biggest, the knot in the world cannot tie him. How will we tie him with a simple rope? But then when he didn't, when they realized he was way too more, determined to walk this path, they sent help. They sent money. And with that, and Raghunath Das Goswami initially took everything and served Mahaprabhu and the Vaishnavas. He will invite Mahaprabhu every day, he will invite. And he will feed him very sumptuously. And one day he stopped. And so he asked, because as I said, he was already, as soon as he took the shelter of Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu gave him to Swarup Damodar. And that's why he is also called Swarupero Raghunath, one who belongs to Swarup. So then he asked Swarup Damodar. So basically Mahaprabhu was a Diksha Guru and Swarup Damodar was a Shiksha Guru, primarily being guided by Swarup Damodar. So he asked, where is he? I don't see him. He doesn't call me for lunch anymore. So he gave up everything, even that wealth he gave up. And then he started begging at Jagannath Puri temple. And eventually he gave that up and he went and started having the stale food of, these cows. And eventually he gave that up. Then he will drink once in 3 days a palm full of buttermilk. So he is also evolving. Of course, he's always, you were there in the class when he's showing us Raganuga. So he's always there. But then for us to meditate on the different pastimes, this all comes to, this all things come to us so that we can relate and we can understand. We can also judge where we are. We this side, that side, in between, which resonate with us, with our current status, and how do we move from there if we can at all. I don't know, I said something. Does it satisfy you? Anything else? So we'll pause. Okay, please go and have breakfast. You want to say something?
I just wanted to thank you for beautiful
Thank
pastimes.
you. Thank you for doing the tough job of scheduling.
Well, this is ecstatic. I'm just bugging everybody to the class. It's only for a month.
I'm making sure. Thank you. Ancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Ananta koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada.